Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Fence to Princess, SoundCloud, SoundClick. It's your boy Tone202 coming at you one more again. Yes, I am. Li- Listen, I was, when it comes to the election, we have to pick out, you know, well, not we, the the Electoral College is going to pick out who is the better of the two. Regardless of what we do, it's not going to matter. The Electoral College is going to say, hey, this is the better of the two to run the country. And they might not even do that. They probably already got who they're going to pick out, which is probably going to be Donald Trump. Even though he's, to me, a potential megalomaniac. And I think we're going to be in World War III if he does. Nonetheless, when I listen to their speeches, you try to pick out what's good and what's bad. And you're like, oh, Donald Trump is just horrible. But not everything he says is horrible. And no, I would not vote for him, on any level, on any reasonable level. I mean, between him and Asila Camp, then of course I would vote for him. But I don't know, Asila Camp is probably a lot smarter than we are. You don't know what Asila Camp is, look it up. Nonetheless, he says a lot of things that interest me, but there's no way I vote for him. But nonetheless, he said that he wanted to vote to get rid of term limits. Okay, let's look at the background. Donald Trump is a businessman who's never been a politician, who was asked about being running for president by Oprah Winfrey like 25 years ago. And he said he didn't know if he was going to run. I mean, this is when he was like in his 30s. So it's longer than that, maybe 40 years ago. I don't know. Nonetheless, Donald Trump is an outsider. He's not a politician. This is his flaw and a benefit. If he wasn't such an idiot, then I'd be like, Donald Trump all the way. But his hatred for everyone is just something you just can't forgive. And his asking about nuclear weapons is something I definitely can't get past. But nonetheless, let's just say this. Donald Trump, he said, I want to get rid of term limits. So when he said he wanted to get rid of term limits, that really sparked my ear, because I worked at the Ohio House of Representatives back in 1998 to 99. Well, 99 to 2000. And I worked for 4 different representatives, 2 on each side. I started off as a temporary, then I became an employee. Last person I worked for was Representative Betty Boyd, until we both went to ODJFS. Nonetheless, the reason why Betty Boyd had to leave is because of term limits. They implemented term limits on her because Representative James was there, and he was there for like 30 years. This dude was like 70 years old. But nonetheless, he would win every time he ran against somebody else because, 1, he knew the system, and 2, everyone loved Representative James, who was a black man, by the way, and so was Representative Betty Boyd. So basically, they implemented term limits on us. So I was her legislative aide. When she left, I also left. Nonetheless, so term limits is good and bad. Let's look at the term limits like this. The president can only run for 2 terms. Boom, 8 years, you're done. Look at it like this. If Obama had another chance to run, would you pick him over Hillary and over Donald Trump? That's easy for the majority of us, which is definitely. But for people who want to make America white again, because they figure Donald Trump, they figured Donald Trump is going to make America white again, and Obama made America black. I don't see how that happened, but nonetheless, they'll definitely vote for Donald Trump. But when you really look at it, I'd rather have Obama back in there. I really would. Term limits is good and bad. Hillary Clinton is part of a very, very dirty system. And I'm going to do a part 2 on this. Hillary Clinton is part of a very dirty system of politicians who have been controlling America for hundreds of years. I'm going to go ahead and go to part 2 on this.